Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's live stream. I hope everybody is doing well out there. Trying something a little different tonight. I'm doing my live streams from my cell phone now just because the coverage, for some reason I get way better bandwidth with my cell phone. So anyways, welcome. We are studentloanjustice.org. We are the oldest, largest citizens group in the country fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. I'm trying to dial in my video now on my laptop so I can see what's going on and read the comments. Okay, there I am. Good. So what's going on right now? If I can see your comments, I will definitely respond to them. I think I can see them here. A lot is going on. The petition is up to 1,042,000 and like 400 or something signatures, which is great. I hope you all are pleased. I hope you all had a chance to look at our new website that we redid like 2 weeks ago. I hope you all are thrilled with all the media that we have been getting lately. Just last month in May, I think we were featured in like 7 different articles, including some national pieces, The Guardian, bunch of other stuff. So anyways, that's all really good. We need to keep doing that. We need to get all of those 18 states in the country who owe more than their entire state budgets in student loan debt. We need to get them. We need to spread the news through local media in those states. So states like Texas, Florida, North, South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, Indiana, Colorado, a couple of blue states, Michigan, New Hampshire, Republican governor. Georgia is the worst state, by the way. We need to get that news spread throughout the states. It will change everything, guys, everything. We're a nonpartisan group, strictly. But, you know, the way the political dynamics are going right now, and we are very aware of the political dynamics, by the way, we're seeing the Democrats call for this sort of nonsensical up to $50,000, up to $10,000 loan cancellation. Bankruptcy is being ignored, and be very careful, guys. That is a trick. We were tricked with the substitution of bankruptcy for feckless loan cancellation programs before. This happened in 2007. We can't go down that road again. We can't let ourselves be screwed. Particularly by the student advocacy groups who claim to be fighting for us, but I think the opposite is more true. So anyways, and as I said, if you have any questions or comments, throw them out. I will definitely read them off if I can. Couple of announcements. Let's see. We've got a interview request from a leading national newspaper that you know well. I'm not going to say the name. They are looking for people who were forced into retirement as a result of the COVID pandemic and have student loans and have to deal with that. So if this is your situation, send me an email, justice@studentloanjustice.org. Also, Heather Taylor in Paris, she is doing, first of all, thanks to everybody who donated to Pony Up for software for Heather to make videos. So we should have some pretty awesome videos coming down the pike. Should be really helpful. Heather is also looking for screen grabs of people's ridiculous student loan balances, like, you know, some kind of a thing from your lender, your servicer, that says, original amount borrowed, like $20,000, amount repaid, like $30,000, amount still owed, like $50,000 or $100,000, or just ridiculous numbers like that. I know a lot of people have some very ridiculous numbers that they could screen grab. So do that. We'd like to make a collage. I think that would be pretty useful. Heather has been kicking so much ass lately, by the way. We gave her an email address. So you can send those screen grabs. Well, you can post them here and that's fine. But you can send them directly to Heather at studentloanjustice.org. So do that. So there's that. You know, more than anything, folks, I have to tell you, I'm very concerned right now. I said a minute ago, our opposition is not weak, guys. They're not super strong. You know, we can completely destroy them when even probably 15 or 20% of the people on this group and on our petition start doing the hard work necessary. We're not there yet, guys. On any given day, maybe 300 people are doing stuff. That's not nearly enough. I'm worried. I'm very worried. You know, the way things are shaping up, we're going to see this bullshit loan cancellation, maybe only for a small subset of people. And at the end of the day, very few people will see any tangible benefit. And they will do that instead of returning bankruptcy protections to the loans. We can't have that. We cannot have that. This lending system is done. It's toast. It's finished. It's failed. In my humble opinion, but it's a strong opinion, if anybody out there ever pays another dime, certainly towards their federal student loans, that is both unwise and unpatriotic. Shame on you for doing that. You should be bulletproofing yourself at this point. This lending system has got to be, in very conservative parlance, taken to the bath and drowned in the tub. You know, even before this pandemic, we were looking at an 80% default rate. 80%. Now, the default rate for subprime home mortgages was like 20%. So, folks, we do not have to put up with this. You know, I know for many of you over years and decades, you've been conditioned to accept the unacceptable, to pay into the indefensible. You need to change your outlook. This lending system has got to go for everyone. It's got to go. And Republicans should be on our side. If you consider yourself, if you're a MAGA person, I'm glad you're here. What can we do to get to the governor of Texas, of Alabama, of Florida, of Ohio, all these other places? What can we do? If we can get even one or two of these guys to stand up and say, Mr. President, enough. I will not have my state, my great state of Georgia, conquered and enslaved by this nonsensical, tyrannical socialist, is what many conservatives would say. Those are not my words, but predatory debt. Not doing it. Mr. President, cancel these loans and return bankruptcy to all the loans that you cannot cancel. When we can get even one or two Republican governors to stand up and say that, we win. That's it. That's you can bust out the champagne glasses, pop the champagne bottles right there, because we win when that happens. Trust me on that. It will cause a groundswell, the likes of which you've never seen before. And remember, guys, there is no good reason for the Democrats to be championing this issue. You know, the two-party duopoly, they've got it kind of rigged, right? So the Democrats are the good cops, the Republicans are the bad cops. And at the end of the day, we get these feckless, fake solutions that help nobody and wind up perpetuating this lending monstrosity. We're not doing that. Things are different this time. We've been doing this for long enough. This lending system is dead. It's a dead man walking. The only question is whether this thing is going to die a peaceful, friendly death, or whether it's going to be a years-long, miserable, civilly unrestful, people will probably die, possibly violent unwinding. And that all depends on us, guys. Us. We can't depend on Elizabeth Warren. We can't depend on the so-called student advocates who've been babysitting this problem for certainly the 16 years since we've been doing this and longer. We can't depend on any of the fakes in Washington, D.C. We cannot. We've got to make this solution happen. And that's why we're here. And so get with that. We're fighting for two things. The return of bankruptcy to student loans. Really, that's number one, guys. That's probably a necessary precondition to actually get these loans canceled. Number two, cancellation of all federal student loans. We started the petition, by the way, over a year ago, before almost anybody was talking about student loan cancellation by executive order. So all that stuff that we saw, Elizabeth Warren, Chuck Schumer picked up on the theme, but that was 6 months after we started the petition. So we deserve a lot of credit. But guys, we've got to keep fighting because our opposition is strong, they're well-resourced, and they're smart. And they've managed to keep this weaponized lending system alive for this long. They would love to keep it going for another couple of years. Well, you need to ask yourself, are you going to play or are you going to not play? I say, let's not play. Don't pay. Don't feed the beast. So just remember that. Think about how you can bulletproof yourself. You know, a lot of people say, oh, what about my job? Well, why don't you think about becoming a contractor rather than an employee? Think about that. If you got assets that you need to put in somebody else's name, that sort of thing. If you're in good with your employer and some 2-bit collection company comes waving around a piece of paper like they're the federal government demanding a wage garnishment, you can tell your employer that the people waving that paper are 2-bit collection goons. They're not the federal government. And if your employer likes you at all, he'll say, hey, this doesn't look right. Come back to me with a court order. And I can almost virtually guarantee you they will go away. They will move down to an easier prey on their stupid little list. So there's all kinds of things that you can do to bulletproof yourselves, folks. I've just mentioned a couple of them. It's time to get real, guys. It's time to put this lending system down. Put it on the scrap heap of failed U.S. policy history or whatever. It's going to have to start with us, guys. We're thrilled that leading Democrats like Elizabeth Warren, Chuck Schumer have embraced the call. But there is no good reason for this to be shelved into yet another partisan, nonsensical food fight where nothing gets done, or nothing good gets done, which is exactly what we're seeing right now. We need to get Republicans on board. We tried very hard with Republicans in the Senate in years past, and we continue to push them. But guys, I think the governors are going to be where this thing happens. They're not beholden to the federal government in the same way that the senators are, They have a duty to fight for their citizens and fight for their states. And when, the state of Florida has $120 billion in student loan debt strapping its citizens, when its entire state budget is only $80 billion, that is a call to arms to that governor, Ron DeSantis. And I think he'll answer the call if he's being honest. Similarly with Brian Kemp in Georgia. Similarly with Greg Abbott in Texas. You name the state. But yeah, so and look at that press release, by the way, that white paper, that piece of research that we did. Go to our website. It's the main thing that you'll see as soon as you go onto our website. Read that article. Look at those states that are being screwed. Those are the states we need to get to. I'm telling you guys, even one person watching this within the sound of my voice could be that one person that writes that well-written email, that has that very well-spoken conversation, the person that, does the right thing at the right time and gets that very first, hopefully Republican governor to stand up and say, enough. I'm not going to let my state be conquered and enslaved by this federal debt. Enough. Cancel the debt. You could be the person that makes that happen. And I mean, I'm just going to be honest. That is pretty much game over for us, and we win. So you sitting there could be that person that makes that happen. So if you're trying really half-assed right now, like maybe you signed the petition and maybe you tune into our live streams every once in a while and maybe you just kind of sit there and you wait and you watch and you worry. Think about what's at stake and think about how such a small amount of your effort could cause such a massive cascade of freedom across this country. I mean, really now, is that not worth putting a little more effort into it than you have up to this point? So, yeah, we have a couple comments here. I see from Heather Taylor. Oh, stop it, Heather. Heather's torturing us. Heather would like us to know that in France, college is $130 a year. Think about that. And here we are, the richest country in the world, supposedly. And our average undergraduates are leaving college with like $38,000 in student loan debt. It's ridiculous. And, you know, Heather also makes a really good comment. Thanks for that. Don't let yourself be distracted. You know, the loan servicing companies, they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs right now. And I would bet you that they have been tasked, while they're not getting any money in because of this pandemic, to troll people online, to do whatever they can do to sow the seeds of discord. You know, I'm seeing a very suspicious movement of all these people popping up out of nowhere, saying, "Oh, why don't we just give a break on the interest? I'd be very happy with just a break on the interest, forgive interest." I'm sorry, guys, but that doesn't pass the smell test with me. I've been doing this a long time. I can smell the setups. I can smell the fakes. I'm sure not all of them are fakes. You know, they're very smart and subtle about how they do things. But guys, interest forgiveness is a non-starter. Will never work. You know, most loans, particularly for older borrowers, they have been churned and sold and reconsolidated, rehabilitated. They've been churned and they've been changed. They've been recapitalized. The capital has been folded into the principal so many times that it is literally impossible to know how much of a loan, in many, if not most cases, is actual principal, how much is interest, and how much has been paid on the loan, and how much went to interest, how much went to principal. It is literally impossible to know that. So, how can I put it to you? It is literally impossible to write a piece of legislation that says, Secretary of Education, thou shalt cancel interest on all of the loans. You know, the Department of Education has no desire, no intentions of canceling any loans. And they will take such language and they will laugh. They will say, "Oh, thank God," because they will say what I just said. They'll say, "Well, you know, there's just no way of knowing how much interest. You know, judging from this loan, you know, maybe the guy borrowed $20,000 back in the 90s. And maybe now he owes $100,000, but maybe they rejiggered his loan 5 years ago. So they'll say, well, according to our records, this guy owes $95,000 in principal. So yeah, sure, we'll forgive $5,000. Yeah, no problem." That's the kind of bullshit that we'll see. Or even worse, they'll simply do nothing. They'll say, you know, this law as it is written is literally incomprehensible to us. We cannot follow this law because it is gibberish. That's what they and their very smart lawyers will say. And they'll be legally defensible in saying that. They're very good at not canceling loans, guys. They're very good at using every possible loophole they can possibly look at to not cancel loans, not forgive any interest. So what I'm telling you guys is forget about the interest thing. That's bullshit. It's nonsense. It is not legislatable. And by the way, there are a lot of people in the country who have paid 5, 6 times what they originally borrowed and never even touched their principal. So this does not help everyone. If maybe it helps you a little bit, it doesn't help everybody. And as I said, because of the first thing, it's impossible to legislate. So don't go there. We're fighting for 2 things. Cancellation of loans, yeah, but more importantly, bankruptcy. When we get bankruptcy returned to all student loans, such a workout as some sort of interest forgiveness, well, all of a sudden that becomes in the realm of possibility, because the Department of Education, with the threat of bankruptcy on our side, they will magically find a way to, oh, okay, yeah, maybe we can carve this up a little bit and forgive. You know, that's the sort of workout that you can expect, but not until that happens. So as long as you're on this, and I hope that you will simply believe what I just said. We've been doing this for many years, guys. I don't say things that are wrong. I say things that are absolutely correct. And I hope you will take my word for it when I tell you that arguing for any kind of interest forgiveness is a non-starter, will never work. And as long as you're on this group, don't fight for that. Don't bring it up. You know, I'm actually starting to delete comments and even remove members, particularly the suspicious ones who pop up out of nowhere and never said anything in months or years past. And all of a sudden they're arguing for interest. I'm sorry, that's suspicious. But as long as you're on this group, fight with us. We're on the right path. Bankruptcy, number one. Number two, the cancellation of all federal student loans. And remember, guys, here's the little inside baseball secret. If we can get bankruptcy returned, there will be a wave of filings so large it will overwhelm the bankruptcy courts. And it will become obviously and very quickly apparent that, oh, okay, maybe we don't want to bankrupt 25 million of our citizens so that we can somehow finagle a couple $1 billion out of this failed lending system. They'll be like, oh yeah, no, we have to cancel all the loans. So really getting bankruptcy back, that's also really kind of the first domino, and it will become very patently obvious that the entire lending system has to be canceled once we get bankruptcy back. And if you want interest forgiveness, we'll fight harder for bankruptcy then. With the threat of bankruptcy, you can get the sort of interest break that you're looking for. But it all starts with bankruptcy, guys. I'm telling you. And make no mistake, the lending system has got to go away. This lending system is dead. It's toast. It's done. It's failed. It will go away. It will go away a lot quicker with bankruptcy return first. So just remember that. So you've been warned. If you keep harping on this interest nonsense, your comment will be deleted. And depending on whether we know you or not, you're probably going to get bounced from the group. So don't go there. Stick with our agenda and your needs will be met. We got this. So, okay, folks. Well, hey, I'm going to leave it there at that. I think I've gone a little bit longer than I really wanted to tonight. But the last thing I will say, I'm going to post a tweet. Well, two things. First thing, I'm going to post a tweet in the comments below this live stream. Retweet that. It's very important. Already like 200 people have. We need to get more people doing it. We are hitting the GOP hard, guys. Nobody else is doing this. We are going into the lion's den. Everybody else apparently is scared. We are not. We know no fear. We are armed with very great knowledge and supreme confidence that we are absolutely correct. We can convince anybody. If Rush Limbaugh were alive today, we would be able to go into his little thing and convince him. So I'm telling you guys, it's far better to go into the lion's den than to preach to the choir. So retweet that and, I don't know, copy the tweet to a bunch of Republican people that you can think of. I don't care who, just think of like 10 and do that. Very last thing, please donate, guys. We can't do this without your financial support. We don't require much at all to survive and thrive. But it's just a daily struggle and it's a huge distraction for us. So if you can please make a personal donation, a personal gift, I appreciate it greatly. You know, just keeping the lights on has been a real struggle, certainly over just the past 2 months. It's been a real struggle. I mean, like, I don't know what's going on out there in the country. I think the economy is tanking, but nobody's telling us. But, you know, we got to fight this fight. If you appreciate the work that we've done, what we've accomplished, and what we are poised to accomplish, I hope you'll throw a couple bucks in, and I'm just going to leave it there at that. I hate asking for money. Come on, just work with me on this, guys. Doesn't take much. So, okay. Well, I will leave it there at that. I will be back on Wednesday. I think Ed's going to be back tomorrow. Keep fighting. We got this. I've never been more confident than I am right now that we're going to get this done. Hopefully by, let's say, October. Certainly by the end of the year. I'm feeling pretty good about it. So hang in. Good luck. Godspeed. And God bless everybody.